All right, well, I hate to break it to you, but we got the results back, and looking at your file, it looks like you're a bit malnourished, got some vitamin deficiencies, and you're missing your body. But besides that, the main diagnosis is you have pelvic rotation. So don't get super upset with me, but I know it's a life changer, it's life altering, but we'll get you over it. We'll put it back in. We'll get the rotation fixed, okay? So that's my intro to this week's episode of From the Horse's Mouth. If anybody looked at my Facebook post yesterday, my little mini rant with one of my favorite scenes from Billy Madison, you may have got a little clue what we were talking about. But I don't want to be a complete curmudgeon on this and just kind of go on a rant again. I want to make sure that I offer something for both my colleagues out there and any patients of mine, or anybody that's ever has been a patient or is going to be a patient of any practitioner for that matter. So why do I bring up this dumb little example with our friend Bucky, which we have named him Bucky. For any of my friends from college, you'll appreciate that. But why do I go over this? We have numerous patients in numerous settings that come in with a diagnosis or have been told that they have an SI joint out, they have pelvic rotation, that their hips are out of line. First of all, it makes me cringe. It's literally like nails on a chalkboard. And it's not because I don't think that those things can happen. Somebody commented on my post, well, sacral rotation is a thing and pelvic rotation is a thing. Absolutely, they are. But it's not a diagnosis, and it's not indicative on its own of pathology. So rotations and asymmetries in the body absolutely can add to or create a perfect storm for injury, but they're not the diagnosis. That's the first thing I need to hit here is, if we went out and looked at an ICD-10 code, a diagnosis code, there's not going to be anything that says pelvic rotation or your SI joint is out. So that is just fear-mongering in my eyes, telling a patient something that's easy to say from the doctor's mouth. It's lazy, if you want to put it like that. But we're basically boiling it down to things that we are deeming structural, which people then own as a diagnosis, that they have actual structural difference in their body that needs to constantly be realigned. I mean, all my chiropractor friends out there, get over yourselves if that's what you're telling people. My PT friends who are out there telling people the same thing, I don't know what you're doing because you used to give chiropractor shit for doing the same thing. And now you're doing it too. And for the whole field in general, the whole medical field or conservative medical field is changing and morphing. And I hate to say it, chiropractors, some of the best adjusters out there are PTs. And I hate to say it, PTs, some of the best rehab people are chiropractors. So if everybody would just get over themselves, get on the same playing field, maybe we wouldn't have these crap diagnoses and people coming in owning the overcalls on imaging, MRIs, and x-rays, these improper diagnoses, these lifelong sentences that are just debilitating people and allowing people to scapegoat themselves into a life that's lacking movement, exercise, and just life in general because they think they have these things wrong that they don't at all. So my message to my colleagues, let me get done with that, is let's just become better overall as a profession. And that's not chiropractic, it's not PT, it's just the field. My orthos, the medical professionals out there, some of the worst diagnoses are coming from you, I'm gonna be honest. And I don't know if it's because the allotment of time or we don't care or we don't know, which may be the worst one of all. But let's pick up the game. For my patients, any doctor, whether it's an MD, a chiro, PT, didn't pop out of the womb a doctor. So more than likely, they were a patient at some point too. And I would hope that as a doctor myself, I could put myself back in those people's shoes and say, I would hope to God I would tell somebody the truth, even if I don't know, which is really hard for some of us to say sometimes that we don't know. So as a patient, if you feel like you're being told something that sounds like it may not be true, or you have missing body syndrome like Bucky here, and it just sounds like complete bullshit, maybe, and I'm not telling you to question medical professionals, but maybe you go find somebody else. So it seems sometimes that the word of God is passed down through some medical professionals, and as it says, so it is. That is not the case sometimes we have really good medical professionals that just, you know, they're a bit out of their realm on a certain injury or whatever it is you come into their office about. Same thing if I took my car to a house framer to get it fixed. He may know something about cars, but he's probably not the guy to go see. It might get done, but it may be that they're trying to fix my axle with 2x4s, and that's not going to be the greatest car in the world after that gets done. So all I'm trying to say for the patient base out there is, it's hard these days to be knowledgeable about everything. We WebMD and Google everything to death before we go see a chiropractor. There's a ton of information. And then when we do go see a medical professional, maybe we see multiples, it feels like we get different opinions from everybody. So when you go out there, try to find who you trust, and that's probably the biggest part about finding a really good doctor is somebody that you feel like you can have a one-to-one connection with. You actually trust them, and hopefully that trust isn't being betrayed by some crap diagnosis or a crap treatment or whatever they're trying to sell you, and hopefully it is really in your best interest, which at the end of the day is the best interest for that doctor as well if they want to have a long, thriving practice. So from the horse's mouth, got a little kind of on the edge of being a rant today, and I don't want to be a troll, and I'm not picking on professions, right? It's across the board. Everything's changing. We are getting better, but as we get better, some of those people in this profession are going to get left in the dust, and those are the people that are going to get the most angry when they're not able to keep up with the swell of knowledge and everybody wanting to push that kind of envelope to the next level. Great thing for patients, great thing for medicine. It's just the early adapters are going to be the ones that get shot at, and later they're going to be the ones sitting on the high throne too. So if you're a patient, find somebody you trust, get a hold of us. If you're looking for somebody, maybe it's not me, maybe you're not even in my area, maybe you're watching this in Alaska, California, wherever it is, we'll help you try to find somebody. If you want to get a hold of me about anything, drbeaubeard@gmail.com, @drbeaubeard, Twitter, Instagram. Look us up, chirofarm.com, and find us on Facebook. Hope you enjoyed this one, guys.